And this is Gavel to Gavel, WCVWTV's complete coverage of Richmond City Council. Good evening once again. I'm Dick Harmon. Welcome to our first meeting of the month of February. We are only 4 days away from Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day out there to all of you and to my special lady. And may this be a good one. And may we not have the snowstorm they're talking about possibly happening this Wednesday. We don't need that. Okay, let's look at the agenda for tonight. We've got 11 items on consent. 2 appointments and 4 regular for a total of 17, but there's some changes and a couple of additions. We'll go through those right now. Starting off with item number 1, Ordinance 2013-175. This is declaring surplus and directing conveyance of city-owned real estate at 1722 Arlington Road to McKinnon and Harris. This is to stimulate private interest, job creation, etc. That's being continued for 30 days till on the next meeting, first meeting in March, the 10th of March. So that one is not going to be heard tonight. Item 2, Ordinance 2013-243, and this accepts $199,969 from the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, and it's basically providing enhancement services to addicted offenders assigned to the Richmond Adult Drug Treatment Court Program. That stays on consent. Item 3, Ordinance 2013-244, and this is a new section in the City Code concerning vicious dogs, definitions, vaccination clinics, fees for dangerous dog registration, all of this, and that stays on consent. Item 4, Ordinance 2013-245, special use at 3805 Cutshaw Avenue for the purpose of authorizing a multi-family dwelling with a total of up to 66 dwelling units. That stays on consent. Item 5, Ordinance 2013-247. That's a special use at 1 North Boulevard for two tourist home lodging units with an owner-occupied single-family dwelling for the purpose of permitting 2 additional lodging units, and that stays on consent agenda. So there's item number 6, Ordinance 2013-251. That's authorizing acquisition by gift from USP Echo Harbor, LLC, of temporary easements on the properties of 3011 and 3021 Dock Street for the public purpose of construction of the Virginia Capitol Trail Project. That stays on consent. Item 7, Ordinance 2014-7, special use at 1001 North Liberty for the purpose of permitting a restaurant and an outdoor dining area, staying on consent. Item 8, Ordinance 2014-8, and this is special use at 1900 Avondale Avenue for the purpose of permitting up to more than 3 dwelling units, no more than 3 dwelling units. That stays on consent. Item number 9, Resolution 2013-R254, supports the city administration's efforts to settle certain claims asserted by certain owners of real property along Princeton Creek. That's being continued until the 14th of April. Item 10, Resolution 2014-R21. This approves $1,500 from the Council District funds for the 8th District to provide funding to the Broad Rock Library. Item 11, Resolution 2014-R22, approves $2,000 from Council District funds for the 8th District to make a donation to South Richmond Adult Daycare Center. And that both of those stay on the consent agenda. Appointments, we have 2 tonight. Remember, for appointments, you must be present. Item 12 is Resolution 2013-R226. This appoints Nathan Hughes, member of the Commission of Architectural Review. And item 13, Resolution 2014-R7. This appoints Jennifer N. Cesar, member of the Citizen Advisory Commission on Alternatives to Incarceration. Those both are appointments for tonight. Now, item 14 on the regular agenda. Conditional rezoning properties at 109, 111, 113, 115, 117, 119 South 1st Street from M1 Light Industrial to B5C Central Business. This one apparently is being moved to the consent agenda, but they will be heard tonight. So that was what we were led to believe during the informal meeting, that it's going to go on consent. Now, items 15, 16, and 17, these are all, I'll read 15 first. This is Ordinance 2014-2. This exempts 300 Rear Tredegar Street from real property taxation beginning July 1st in all subsequent tax years, contingent upon the continuing use of the property by Venture Richmond Incorporated, a nonprofit organization. This is in accordance with the cultural purpose of offering cultural events and celebrations to the citizens and visitors of the city of Richmond. That one, along with item 16, which is exempting 340 Tredegar Street, and 17, which is exempting 711 South 2nd Street, will all stay on the regular agenda tonight. I do believe we're going to have some people down here to speak for and against that. So where do we stand right now? Okay. We had 11 items on the consent agenda. 2 are being continued, and then 1 apparently being moved from the regular to consent, so we were left with 10 items on consent. 2 appointments. Regular agenda, we had 4 items. 1 is being moved to consent. Result, we have 3 items left on the regular. So right now we're at 15 papers to be heard tonight. However, there are 2 expedited considerations. 1 appoints Amanda Shelton to the position of council liaison. That would be should be the liaison to Vice President Robertson. And then another resolution. This one express the City Council support and commitment for the City of Richmond to secure and provide for local matching funds totaling at least $5 million and to dedicate appropriate contiguous real estate for a slavery and freedom heritage site. That one is up under expedited consideration. We don't know what the... we'll get a little more background as we get into the meeting that rather than trying to explain it all to you right now, because it could be a little confusing. So we will let that go, but that will be heard tonight. Citizens comment period. Let's see, we have topics will be Black History. We have 7 people to speak. We have Black History Month, historical character of Richmond, baseball stadium, gang-related crime in the city, ballpark and jobs, baseball stadium, and job creation. So those are all the citizens comment period sites, 7 speakers. And on the recognitions, we have the one for Richmond Black History Month. This will be open proclamation with no individual recipient. And this will officially proclaim the month of February to be Richmond Black History Month to recognize, honor, and celebrate the important history of people of African American descent in the United States, and the recognition of the month of February as National Black History Month. That is one award that will be presented tonight as well. So that's what it looks like. We'll be getting started in just about 5 minutes from now, and we'll see what happens. How long will we be here? Well, we just don't know until we get going, and we'll be doing that shortly. So I'm Dick Harmon. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a quorum of council in the council chambers. I'll ask council members to please, if they would, take their seats. Call this meeting of the formal Richmond City Council meeting to order. I'd ask that everyone please rise. Ask that everyone please rise as Reverend Keith Johnson from Forest Hill Baptist Church.
Presbyterian.
I'm so sorry, Presbyterian Church. Don't want to mix those two up. Provides our invocation, followed immediately by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. God of all nations and people, thank you for your concern for our city and your love for each individual living in Richmond. In our rich diversity, lead us to cooperate and seek unity of purpose. We especially pray for our safety workers and all those whose daily work makes our city a wonderful place to live. Tonight, remind us as citizens, city council and mayor, of the sacred responsibility to work for the common good and to be fair to those without power and influence. May we all come to this meeting with readiness to listen and open minds to seek understanding and truth. Lead us to be good stewards of the resources, revenue, and opportunities we are given. Gracious God, may you bless our city as we remember the blessing and responsibility the children of Richmond offer us. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of quick paperwork issues. It is anticipated that the Venture Richmond tax abatement papers are going to be continued for 60 days. You're welcome to stay to confirm that actually happens, but it does appear that's going to happen tonight. So I wanted to let you know if anybody has anything else they'd rather be doing with their evening, that those papers are anticipated to be continued for 60 days. In addition to that, there are no baseball stadium papers on the docket scheduled to be heard tonight. Everyone is welcome to stay again, but I want to make sure folks know that there wasn't an opportunity for public comment on those papers tonight. Next, I'd like to invite one of our very special guests tonight, Mayor Jones, and he will be here with us for the awards and presentations and perhaps to greet another special guest. But for right now, Madam Clerk, may we please have the emergency evacuation plan and citizen speaker guidelines.
Upon activation of the emergency alarm systems, all persons should exit the building. Please use the exit to the left or right front of the council chamber or the east or west stairwell outside the rear doors of the chamber. Do not use elevators or escalators. After exiting the building, proceed to the assembly area located in the parking lot bordered by Clay 8th and 9th Streets. Citizens and employees should assist visually and hearing impaired visitors with exiting the building. Citizen Speakers Guideline. Citizen wishing to speak during public hearing and or citizen comment period generally have 3 minutes to speak. Person appearing before council are not allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business venture, use language of a personal nature which insults or demean any person, including comments directed at public official or staff members that are not related to their official duties, or address or question staff members directly. All questions are to be directed to the President of Council. Failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in speakers forfeiting any remaining time and future disciplinary action as necessary, which could include barring from attendance at future meetings of City Council for a period of 6 months.
Mr. President, for the record, all members of council are in attendance this evening.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please read the appointments and reappointments?
Yes, appointments for consideration this evening are as follows, and if you would please stand when I call your name. Item number 12, resolution number 2013-R226 to appoint Nathan Hughes. Nathan Hughes as a member of the Commission of Architectural Review, Richmond Association of Realtors nominee for a term terminating July 31st, 2014, succeeding Edward R. Andrews. Item number 13, resolution number 2014-R7 to appoint Jennifer N. Cesar as a member of the Citizens Advisory Commission on Alternatives to Incarceration, at-large resident of the city for a term terminating January 27th, 2016. Mr. President, those are all of the appointments or reappointments for consideration this evening.
Thank you so much. I want to thank both of these folks for being willing to serve on boards and commissions, dedicating your time to the city of Richmond. After we take the vote, if you'll see Mr. Rawls, he's there in the bow tie waving at you, he'll administer the oath of office in the clerk's office. You're welcome to come back, but we understand if you have other things to do with your evening. Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in favor or against any of the papers? All right. Bring it back to council for any discussion. Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on the appointment and reappointment papers as read, items number 12 and 13. Mr. Balaus?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert? Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those papers have been adopted.
Folks, thank you again for your willingness to serve your city. We really appreciate it. Mr. Rawls will be in the back corner there. Thank you very much. Mayor Jones, there is another special guest in our audience tonight. I want to thank you for asking for him to come on down. If you would have any words to say.
Thank you, President Samuels and Vice President Robertson. I have a wonderful privilege tonight to introduce to the City Council of the City of Richmond a family that just moved into our neighborhood. And I am very happy to introduce them. I believe that this is the first time that a governor has come to speak to our City Council. I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected, but I believe that I'm right about that. I also want to tell you that if the last 30 days or last several days have any indication of what the future holds, the City of Richmond stands in good stead because our governor has been in meetings with me at least 5 times already. He was the first governor that I know that has come to our legislative reception. And in our city that has 26% poverty, one of his major objectives is Medicaid expansion, which will mean so much to the citizens of the city of Richmond. He is also committed to bringing more jobs to the Commonwealth, and we're hoping that some of those jobs are going to land within our city. He's already agreed to be a co-chair of the 2015 bike race, and he celebrated his birthday on yesterday, and so you all can say happy birthday to him when he gets to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the 72nd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be with everybody. I thank you for this opportunity. The mayor was in meeting the other day, and I mentioned I'd love to come by to the city council and say hello. So, Mr. President, it's great to be with you. Vice President of the council, you are now, I guess, my rep. So if I got pothole issues, I'm coming to you, Ellen. But I just wanted to come by because I am now a resident of the city of Richmond. I have changed my voting registration, my wife as well, so we will be now voting here. And I just want to first and foremost come by and say hello to all of you. I want to thank you all. We had a spectacular inauguration. We had folks in, as you know, from all over the globe. We had a former president, former first lady. We had a lot of folks here. And I got to tell you, the rave reviews that the city of Richmond received. So first and foremost, thank you for making it really such a spectacular inauguration for myself, my family, but it was really just great to have everybody come to Richmond, and hopefully we'll now get some folks to move their corporate headquarters here as well and do what we need to do to grow and diversify our economy, something that I ran on. I wanted you all to know that I am all in to help the city of Richmond and the things that you need to get done. Over the campaign, I went out to the Redskins training facility. I had a great time. I threw a football. My son got to meet RG3, so I thank you for that great opportunity. I met with the mayor the other day and agreed to be one of the chairs of the bike race coming up. The idea that we're going to have 300 million people watching and looking at the city of Richmond and 400,000 folks visiting is truly incredible. So I said, whatever you need from the office of the governor and anything I need to do, and I am all in to help you do what you need to do. Recently, Cynthia and I went down and I did the slave walk in Lumpkins Jail with Dolores McQuinn. A lot of exciting things that are going on here in the city of Richmond. I know you're looking at a lot of redevelopment. You're going to make whatever decisions that you're going to make, but any time we can redevelop an area and grow and create more economic activity, I just want you to know that I want to be a partner with you. Since I'm going to be living here for 4 years, I'm going to be here, and I've been in the neighborhoods out consistently, and I do want to thank my great friend, Mayor Jones, who has been a spectacular mayor. I've had a long relationship with him. He has been a great leader of our party. I've actually been to his church. He's actually prayed for me, which I hope he continues to do every day. But you have a great team here. This is a great city, and you're one of the few cities, I believe, actually in the Commonwealth that I believe population was up. That's spectacular. And you can feel the vibrancy in this city. So nothing more to say. I wanted to come by and say thank you. Just wanted you to meet your new resident who will be here. And please feel free at any time and any issue to pick up the phone and call me. And if I can help you, I want to be there for you. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Great.
Just the other day I was saying I wanted to make these meetings not exciting and not controversial, and instead we get wonderful special guests like the governor of Virginia, lives literally a block and a half away, to come down. I can't thank him enough for that, for Mayor Jones for inviting him. Madam Clerk, now that we're back on schedule, I believe we have one award or presentation.
That is correct. The first recognition tonight being presented by the Honorable Council President Charles Samuels recognizes February 2014 as Richmond Black History Month. National Black History Month recognizes and celebrates the numerous and significant contributions that people of African American descent have made in the U.S. throughout our nation's history. The history of the world has shown that continued human progress and the success of society and civilization has been built on a foundation of inclusiveness and diversity of social and racial identity. Embracing and celebrating our individual and communal racial and cultural identities and commodities as Americans help to further bring everyone together and to drive the development of our society. In order to recognize, honor, and celebrate the important history of people of African American descent in the U.S., and in recognition of the month of February as National Black History Month, the Honorable Members of Richmond City Council and the Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones hereby officially proclaim the month of February 2014 to be Richmond Black History Month, and call this observance to the attention of all Richmond residents and ask them to join in the observance of a truly worthy commemoration.
President Samuels, and to all who are here tonight, members of council, it is certainly our honor to be able to recognize Black History Month, began in 1926, Carter G. Woodson, and to recognize that for all these years we have had the opportunity during the month of February to recognize the contributions of African Americans in our country. This month is not just for African Americans, but it's for all people, because our nation is a great nation, because it is made up of many different races, many different cultures, and together we all make this nation the great nation that it is. And so the importance of what has transpired in the past is important not just to African Americans, but it is important to us all. And as we take this opportunity to encourage young people and all people to learn more about the contributions of African Americans to making this a great country, we take that opportunity to really recognize that February is not enough for that. That should be something that happens throughout the year in our classrooms, in our history books. And the road from slavery to freedom has been a great one. And we celebrate where we have come from. We commemorate what the ancestors have done, but we celebrate what we have been able to make out of a terrible situation. And for that reason, it is a delight to be a part of recognizing Black History Month in the city of Richmond.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. It's always daunting to follow you in a speech like that because you've lived through so much more history. No, that one joke. That joke was bad. My apologies. Mayor Jones' birthday was last week. At any rate, what I'd recommend to everyone today is when you look to celebrate Black history this month, look locally to do it. Whether it's the slave trail, whether it's Jackson War, whether it's commemorating Gabriel's insurrection, whatever it is, Richmond is a vast amount of history. And we have a great opportunity to honor it, commemorate it, and enjoy it here in town. And I hope that everyone in February will take the opportunity to do just that. Thank you all very much.
Mr. President, that was our only recognition for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May we please review the agenda and address any amendments that need to be made?
Tonight's agenda amendments are as follows. Item 1, ordinance number 2013-175 will be continued to March 10th council meeting. Item 9, resolution number 2013-R254 will be continued to April 14th council meeting. Item 14, ordinance number 2013-246 has been moved to the consent agenda. Item 15, ordinance number 2014-2 will be continued to April 14th council meeting. Item 16, ordinance number 2014-3 will be continued to April 14th council meeting. And item 17, ordinance number 2014-4 will be continued to April 14th council meeting. I need a motion to amend the agenda as read. Mr. Blouse, will you make that motion? Council is voting on Mr. Blouse's motion to amend the agenda as read. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agilesta?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuel?
Aye.
The amended agenda is before you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'd like to go now to the regular agenda. I believe there is nothing on that. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
That is correct.
Wonderful. May we please then move to the motions. Actually, with council's permission, I'd like to go ahead and take care of the citizen comment period at this time. Any objections to that? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, those who signed up for a time on our citizen comment period, when you hear your name called, please come down to the podium.
First speaker, Melvin Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Samuels, Ms. Robinson, City Clerk. Is it possible you could pass this out to each council person, please? Mr. Samuels, I really want to thank you and Mayor Jones for what you did for Black History Month. And this is just a little piece of what we could probably put down when we have art walk in City Hall. And this is a little bit about slavery, a little bit about the different heroes of blacks, Martin Luther King and some others. The literature that's being passed out right now is about the first black high school in the city of Richmond. I hate to say it, I went to Walker, but it's Armstrong. And Miss Maggie Walker went to Armstrong. We had some real intelligent people to come out of Armstrong. We had a mayor, we had an admiral to come. I believe they're making a battleship out of him now. Mr. Grave, Samuel Grave. Doug Wilder, and also we had the first black mayor. And also, if you look at the paper, you can see we had the vice mayor, Claudette McDaniels, on there that came from Armstrong. And she was the first black council person. Ms. Keys was the first black city clerk in Richmond. So, you know, this is a great time for Richmond. There's a lot going on. As old people would say, I hope we're not taking on a whole lot that we can't swallow. But, you know, I like what I'm seeing with the city. And, you know, I really like what you did, Mr. Samuels, for Black History Month, because we only got 3 black businesses left in the city of Richmond. I really thank them for being here for as long as they've been in the city of Richmond. I grew up with them, and you know, things are really happening in the city of Richmond. And I want to thank City Council for this time, and I would like for y'all to take the time to read what you have in front of you, because, you know, this black-on-black crime that we have in Richmond, you know, all of us need to take back and look what's happening in the city. There's more black crime going on in the city of Richmond than ever. And I would like for each council person to take the time to go and stay in one of these project developments and see what's going on. You know, those people are just like any other person, just like myself. You know, they're trying to do things in the city, and I like for you to try to, you know, just listen to those people. But thank you for the time, Mr. Samuels and Ms. Robinson and City Clerk and everybody on council. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Anna Edwards.
Saw her earlier. Miss Edwards?
Anna Edwards.
All right. Next speaker, please.
Marie Morton Hart.
Miss Hart? Ah.
Good afternoon. My name is Marie Morton Hart, and I reside in the 8th District. I would like to say to Mr. Blouse, when I first saw you, I said, you look like a gangster, but now I don't think that. But I don't like you in that beard. But I would like to ask, how many people grew up in Richmond? Is there anyone in here who grew up in Richmond? Well, I did, and I lived in Southside. I have lived in Southside for 75 years. 2 years I lived at Camp Pendleton, which I'm a Marine wife, and he's retired. But we grew up in Southside. The water came. I wish you would leave the ballpark where it is, not down there, and make my cousin Ash Center a better place. If you want to put something in Shockoe Bottom, put a shopping center down there. And I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hart. I appreciate it. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker, Fatah Muhammad.
Mr. Muhammad.
Good afternoon. My name is Fatah Muhammad, Mr. President and all the council. And I follow up on the Speaker of the Brothers to the black-on-black crime. Now, I heard him say he asked you council people to go into their community. I do know one council person that went in the community before she became the council, and that's why I met her at River Trammell. And we went into Blackwell, and everybody knew what Blackwell was. The police was afraid to go into Blackwell. The police was afraid to go into Blackwell, and we went into Blackwell and cooled Blackwell down. Not just Blackwell, but the rest of the city. What we're looking at, Richmond, the south side, I live on the south side in the 8th district, and we're going to make the 8th district the best district in the city of Richmond when it comes down to crime and anything else. We'd have been in every district in the city of Richmond. We have not. Only one who ever recognized the work that's been done by the Muslim in Richmond is River Trammell. Everybody else, no one else except on this council meeting have ever done that. River Trammell did it. We have been in the south side, north side, west side, east side. Even we went into Richmond over here, 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue. You remember, everybody know what 4th Avenue, 3rd Avenue was. That's where all the big boys was. Jackson Ward, where all the big boys was. And Gibbon Court. We went in there and cooled that down. And when the whole family was killed in Gibbon Court, we went in there and helped move the other family out of Gibbon Court to a safety zone. But no one else had recognized the work but River Trammell. And we are here today saying we're taking back our community from the criminals. We're going back into the streets. We're going to stand on corners. And we don't have to ask River to come out. She's going to be there. The only thing she know, if we there, she's going to be there. And I brought a friend with me. He's not from Richmond. And I would like for him to say something based on what he sees, how he feels, the same way I feel about the criminal mentality in Richmond. And we're not talking from the top of our head, we're talking from experience. And that's what we need in Richmond. And we do work, before we do anything, we let the police department know what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and what we're going to do. We let them know how we're going to be dressed in everything. We work closely with the police department. We don't go in the community alone by ourselves. We go in there with the police. And we do not hide behind the corners of the curtain. We put the finger on the person who's doing the criminal activity in our city. We put the finger on it. We will go to court and testify to whoever that is, whoever it is. And the one thing I would like to say, as being a Muslim, I saw that Congress had passed a law that, now I'm not going to speak for myself, that you cannot kill an American if he come to destroy America. I don't have nowhere to go. We will pick up arms against anybody who's trying to destroy my home. This is my home. I don't have nowhere else to go. I can't go to Africa, nowhere else, and be safe and have the freedom I have here. We will pick up arms. We will join the military to make sure we get anybody that was trying to destroy America.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Sir, unfortunately, you have to sign up to speak, and you've already exceeded the 3 minutes. If you would like to come back in 2 weeks' time, we'll be sure to add you to the list of speakers. But at this point, we've run out of time on this speaker.
With consideration of the panel and being a new resident of Richmond myself, I won't exceed no more than 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, you got to sign up for it. If I did this for you, I'd have to do it for everybody, at which point we would have quite a line of public speakers.
Thank you, just the same.
Thank you.
Thank you all, but please do come back.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
Fatah Muhammad. I have to address this because I met Muhammad in 1995, and I could not have done that alone without your help and without you persuading me to come with you, even though I was rebelled against, and because of your leadership and all that you've done, working with the police and all of that, working with different communities, Blackwell, Oak Grove, Jefferson Davis, Hall Street, Midlothian, I could name so many more. But you took the lead, and we didn't give up. I see Rose is here tonight, Marie's here, John Hewlett, his wife, is here, and it's because of what your leadership did and us forming that bond with those police officers back in the day, as they call it, when we had 160 homicides. And it's because of leaders like you that didn't give up, and myself that were persistent not to take no for an answer, but to prevail, to say, yes, we can do this. And we did.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trammell.
Thank you.
Thank you all again. Next speaker, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next speaker is Christopher Tucker.
Mr. Tucker. All right, next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Damaris Lipscomb. Damaris?
Mr. Lipscomb? Yes, sir. Come on down.
Good afternoon, President Samuels, Vice President Ms. Robertson, and to the rest of the Richmond City Council. My name is Damaris Lipscomb. I'm a resident here in the city of Richmond, also a student. I'm here today because, honestly, I'm sick and tired over the issue of the development over the boulevard and the Shockham Bottom project. I am for anything that is going to bring jobs to this 20th century city. And the reason I call it a 20th century city is because we are not yet caught up in the 21st century. Why is it that people can't see the vision of job creation and economic development? And most important, something that would tell the true story of our ancestors' history. I am for the boulevard development and the Shockham Bottom development. The opposition plan has no substance. Yes, my ancestors built this country, and my ancestors fought hard so that we can be free and have plenty of opportunities. I am proud of the mayor's vision for developing the Shockham Bottom area and in the city. We only have one shopping mall, and it's a food desert in the East End. The smartest thing Henrico and Chesterfield have ever could have done was build developments close to the Richmond border. Richmond residents go shopping in Chesterfield and Henrico, which means that all Richmond tax revenues goes to the surrounding counties. I wonder, are we telling the true story? For instance, did you guys know that William Byrd, as explicit this may sound, used to make slaves drink his urine? Also, this whole city is built on a burial ground. Did you guys also know that bodies are buried across this whole city? Did you know that slaves were kept in the same area in Church Hill where the historical homes are built? People, it's time to wake up. It's time to open our eyes and make a drastic change in this God-forsaken city. Again, I'm Damaris Lipscomb, and I thank you for your courtesy and time. Thank you,
sir. And we especially appreciate it as we look to a regional solution to have citizens of Henrico, such as yourself, come down.
Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is John Hewlett.
Good evening, good evening. With John and Yvonne Hewlett. And my wife is going to read this for me.
Council President and council members, good evening. We are here to voice our disapproval of building baseball stadium on sacred ground in Shockoe Slip. There's much history in Richmond and Virginia, and in our opinion, there are outsiders that come to Richmond to earn a living, and once established, they want to change our history, disregard it, get rid of it, and or pave over it. Keep in mind, Hitler burned books. You don't destroy your history, you learn from it. We are residents in the 8th District represented by Councilwoman Reva Trammell. We've lived in Richmond all our lives, and as residents of the 8th District, we have utmost respect for our councilperson in carrying out the will of the residents, and we know she is not on anybody's payroll or in anybody's pocket. We believe and we can rest assured that she will do the right thing when it comes to the no vote for the Mayor's Shako plan. Reva Trammell is a council person for the people, and she will not let big pockets influence her decision. We trust her completely. Richmond's infrastructure is in shambles. Potholes make driving on Richmond streets an obstacle course. There are broken sidewalks, a 29% poverty rate, possibly higher, and our school system is a disgrace, leaving the children to suffer. And now the mayor is pushing for a baseball stadium to be funded by the tax dollars of poor folks, and in our opinion, so that a few can line their pockets with those tax dollars. We do believe those wanting to get richer have no allegiance to this city or its people. There sits the city stadium, not being used and going to waste. There's already the stadium on the boulevard with plenty of parking, easy access to and from 95 and 64. Most baseball fans come from the counties. There are comparatively fewer Richmonders attending baseball games. The people in the counties left Richmond for safety reasons, better schools, and better government. Do you think for a minute that those same people will take their families down to Shako Bottom to a baseball game? Well, we don't think so. There's a federal investigation going on at RRHA, and we do wish that such an investigation would take place in Richmond City administration as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to add one thing. I smell a rat. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Madam Clerk, was that the end of our list of speakers for tonight?
That is correct.
May we please do motions to amend and continue?
We have no motions to amend and continue. We have 2 expedited papers.
May we please do those expedited resolutions at this point?
Sure. First paper is resolution number 2014-R23 to express City Council support and commitment for the City of Richmond to secure and provide for local matching funds totaling at least $5 million and to dedicate appropriate contiguous real estate for a slavery and freedom heritage site. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of that paper. Councilor Hilbert, will you make that motion?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Councilor Hilbert's motion for expedited consideration of resolution number 2014-R23. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper is before you.
Thank you. Mr. Beliles, would you like to give a brief introduction as one of the 5 co-patrons?
Actually, after reaching everybody over the weekend, finally.
That's right.
It was Friday, it was 5, and finally got a chance to speak to everybody. But I wanted to introduce this resolution. It's been put upon the council that the $11 million in matching state funds is in the committees in the legislature right now. And all this does is it signifies our support that we will match, or we will provide the $5 million for the Slave Heritage Site that will then hopefully affirm the $11 million in state funding, which will put us at obviously the $16 million mark, irrespective of anything else. It's that simple.
Thank you very much. Are there those that wish to speak in opposition to this paper? Are there those that wish to speak in support of this paper?
Mr. Samuels, I got a question on that paper. Is that...
Yes, sir.
Melvin Jones. Is that money going towards just the burial site, or is that going to be money going towards the ballpark, too?
This is exclusively for the Lumpkins jail site, the burial site. It has nothing. It is completely separated from the ballpark. All this paper says is that whatever happens with the ballpark happens, but we are definitely putting money in for the Slavery Museum for Lumpkins Jail.
So, and when $11 million come from the state, is that going into the whole ballpark thing, or that's going to be for the Lumpkins jail?
That is
also?
exclusively for Lumpkins Jail and the slavery site as well.
So that's what it's 16 million. Okay, I'm for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Estes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lily Estes. My point of clarification is if the measure comes from the state capital for the $11 million and is tied to the ballpark, is there going to be a stipulation that will basically make that not possible? So if the state information, dollar bills, $11 million, come with the stipulation that it has to be attached to a baseball stadium, will the city refuse the $11 million and not match the $5 million? So I want to make that point clear because
I can't say what the General Assembly is going to do. All I can say is this paper says we're in for $5 million, absolutely, positively, no questions asked, whatever the results of the baseball stadium proposal may end up being.
Making a stipulation, we transferred the land based on it not being a done deal with the baseball stadium. Now we're going to separately put the $5 million and separately do the $11 million. I just want to make sure we're not, dying a death of a million cuts.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, bringing it back to council for any discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the paper.
Council is voting on resolution number 2014-R23. Mr. Blouses?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you.
Next, we have resolution number 2014-R24 to appoint Amanda D. Shelton to the position of council liaison. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of this paper. Vice President Robertson, will you please make that motion?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Vice President Robertson's motion to appoint for expedited consideration of resolution number 2014-R24. Mr. Blouses?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper is before you.
Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak opposed to this paper? Is there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in support of this paper?
Can I say? Good evening, Mr. President, Ms. Vice President Robertson. I am Amanda Shelton. I just wanted to formally introduce myself to everyone as well as everyone sitting here in the audience. I am the new council liaison for Ms. Robertson in the 6th District. And I just wanted to, again, introduce myself. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to give our office a call, 804-646-7964.
Thank you, Ms. Shelton. Bringing it back to council for any discussion. Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on resolution number 2014-R24. Mr. Blouses?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Congratulations, Ms. Shelton. Madam Clerk, I believe we've hit the consent agenda.
The consent agenda items are as follows. Item 2, ordinance number 2013-243, to authorize the CAO to accept $199,969 from the United States Department of Justice for the purpose of providing enhancement services to addictive offenders assigned to the Richmond Adult Drug Treatment Court program. Item 3, ordinance number 2013-244, to amend Chapter 10, Article 3, Division 3 of the City Code by adding a new section 10-171.1 concerning vicious dogs, to amend sections 10-1, 10-171, and 10-264 concerning definition and vaccination clinics, and Appendix A, Section 10-171 concerning fees for vicious dog registration, all for the purpose of reflecting amendments to the Virginia Code sections 3.2-6540 and 3.2-6570 and the enactment of section 3.2-6540.1. Item 4, ordinance number 2013-245 to authorize the special use of 3805 Cutshaw Avenue for a multifamily dwelling unit up to 66 units. Item 5, ordinance number 2013-247 to amend the ordinance which authorized the special use of 1 North Boulevard for the purpose of permitting 2 additional lodging units. Item 6, ordinance number 2013-251 to declare that a public necessity exists and to authorize the acquisition of a temporary easement at 311 and 321 Dock Street for the construction of the Virginia Capitol Trail project. Item 7, ordinance number 2014-7 to authorize the special use of 1001 North Lombardy Street for the purpose of permitting a restaurant and an outdoor dining area. Item 8, ordinance number 2014-8 to authorize the special use of 1900 Avondale Avenue for the purpose of permitting no more than 3 dwelling units. Item 10, resolution number 2014-R21 to approve $1,500 from the Council District Fund for the 8th District to provide funding to the Broad Rock Library to assist with the library operations. Item 11, resolution number 2014-R22 to approve $2,000 from the Council District Fund for the 8th District to make a donation to South Richmond Adult Daycare Center to assist with funding for new programs and healthcare services. And item 14, ordinance number 2013-246 to conditionally rezone 109, 111, 113, 114, 117, and 119 South 1st Street from the M1 Light Industrial District to the B5C Central Business District. Mr. President, those are all the consent agenda items.
Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in opposition to any of these items? I see Mr. Persinger, Ms. Karn. Anyone else? All right, Mr. Persinger.
Good evening. My name's Silver Persinger. I'm a citizen of Richmond, Virginia. I'd like to speak in opposition to item 14. And I'd like to remind you all at the last 2 meetings I asked you guys to follow your own rules of procedure. 2 meetings ago, you shifted around the agenda. That's inconsiderate to individuals who may plan their attendance to the meeting based on when items on the agenda are going to appear. And you've done the same thing again, yet you've removed something from the regular agenda and moved it to the consent agenda. And on the consent agenda, I'd like to remind you all, you're supposed to have non-controversial, routine sort of papers. That's what it says in your agenda. And yet at the last meeting, you had half a dozen property owners from the area on South 1st Street associated with item number 14 here. And not only, the agenda that you guys provided to public, only 3 hours ago did you guys decide that this was not going to be continued and be not on the regular agenda but on the consent agenda. And there's the public notification. It's like screw the public, screw the agenda that we prepared for the public. And, people who may have wanted to speak against this may have went to your website and saw, oh, well, it's continued to February 24th. I'll save myself a trip down there tonight and come back on the 24th. And yet you guys are considering it tonight against what was published on the agenda. I have no reason why. I know Mrs. Robertson at the informal session decided it should be put on the consent agenda. But again, I insist that you guys follow your rules. This is the public document. This is what public had access to. And yet here you are considering it tonight when it's supposed to be considered on the 24th. At the last meeting, I objected to somebody being appointed to a committee via expedited consideration, and they weren't present. what is the point of having rules if you guys continue to break the rules? Just like the Venture Richmond tax exemption paper, you guys have called for a moratorium on tax exemptions, yet you are going to consider that tonight, and that was also on the agenda and is now mysteriously continued. Please follow your rules. Please follow the agenda that you published to the public. This is very disconcerting to me. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Mo Carnage, and surprisingly, I'm talking about something other than baseball tonight. I was wondering what the deal is with number 3 on the consent agenda, because as a dog owner and as someone with lots of friends who own dogs, it's kind of, the wording is concerning, and I'm wondering if anyone knows specifically what is meant with adding a section about vicious dogs, because I know in a lot of other cities and states, people have very breed-specific and prejudicial against certain breed laws that get put into place. And so I'm wondering if, in this case, we're talking about something saying, different restrictions for different breeds of dogs. And if so, I don't think anyone knew that this was coming up tonight, but there are a lot of organizations in the city that support like pit bulls and Rottweilers and a lot of these different breeds of dogs that have been sort of targeted as bad dogs, even though they're not. And so if y'all know if this is about specific breeds of dogs, I would really urge you to not pass it tonight, because there will be a big backlash from that whole community and a lot of the groups that work doing pit bull rescue and that sort of thing. So I would love it if somebody could let me know after I'm done speaking what this is actually about, because I looked back there and there wasn't more paper sort of explaining what this is in reference to. But if it's about breed-specific legislation, I would really, really urge you to pause tonight and to maybe get a little bit more information out to the public, and then allow people who are involved in those organizations to come out and, share with you how they feel about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else to speak in opposition? All right. Anyone here to speak in support of any of the papers? Mr. Conlon.
Mr. President, Madam Vice President, Andy Conlon here, representing the applicants with respect to item number 14. Simply wanted to state that, as you remember, there were a number of people in opposition. We worked closely with them. They're not here tonight because we've been able to comply with some of the requests, as well as be able to handle some of the requests from the City Council itself with respect to both parking and some of the construction issues. With that, we're happy to answer any questions that you have. We do think it's appropriate for the consent agenda because it is with no opposition at this point.
Thank you very much. Okay. Anyone else to speak in support of any of these papers?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Monica Esparza. I also would like to express concern about the change of agenda items at the last minute. I may have had some thought about some of the funding that was approved, for example, for the Slavery Museum. My question, for example, would be where had those funds been extracted from? Secondly, I would like to support number 10 and number 11, resolutions patroned by Riva Tremble. Want to express my sincere appreciation for Ms. Tremble as my council person, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. All right, a couple of things. First and foremost, for Ms. Karn, in subsection B of the ordinance, it says no canine or crossbreed shall be found to be a vicious dog solely because it is a particular breed, nor is the ownership of a particular breed of dog prohibited. Hopefully that addresses the concern there.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. Could you please ask Chuck, Mr. Director of Animal Control, to come up here to kind of like explain it a little bit better, because what I just had, it's not explaining it very well.
Well, you didn't...
Because we just opened up, she just opened some questions up for this, and we need to clear it up.
Sure. So in the code section, section B of this ordinance, says that they cannot declare a dog vicious because of its breed, nor can any breed be prohibited just because of its breed. Thank you. All right. As to the other concern, it was my belief this paper was going to be continued, Mr. Persinger, so I asked for it to be continued. However, I had checked this afternoon with Vice President Robertson, as well as the folks that came down last week with concerns. They no longer had concerns. They consented to it. They believed it was appropriate to move forward, so I allowed it to do so based on that. If there's anyone to blame there, it's me. Now, any comments by council members on anything on the consent agenda? All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Yes, council is voting on the consent agenda. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelesto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
The consent agenda has been adopted.
Thank you. And since we've already done expedited resolutions, I believe we need to move to an approval of some minutes.
Yes, Mr. President. The minutes to be approved for this evening are from Monday, January the 27th at 3 p.m. informal session, and Monday, January the 27th at 6 p.m. formal session of council. I need a motion. Ms. Newbill, will you make that motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
You're now voting on Councilor Newbill's motion to approve the minutes as presented. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. President Samuels?
Aye.
Those minutes have been adopted.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we've moved to the second most exciting part of tonight's meeting, the announcements by council people. Last time I went alphabetically. This time I'm simply going to go this way around the room. Mr. Blouse.
Thank you, Mr. President. We will be having a joint 1st and 2nd District meeting to discuss revitalized RVA in the Shotco Stadium on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. at Albert Hill Middle School, which is located at 3400 Patterson Avenue. I would just like to also say a special congratulations to two Richmonders, Russell Wilson and Michael Robinson, and congratulate them on their Super Bowl victory. Both are amazing young men that do a lot of good here in the Richmond community, and have now, I've officially joined the Seattle Seahawks bandwagon.
Thank you, Mr. Blouse. Ms. Graziano?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to join in with Mr. Blouse on congratulating those two young men from Richmond. And I really don't have much of an announcement. However, Thursday, February 20th, I'm going to have my bi-monthly Presidents of a Civic Association meeting, and it will be held at my house. So, thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Mosby?
I would like to first thank all who showed up for the Revitalized RVA proposal meeting at Miles Jones. Our next meeting, our district meeting, will be held Thursday, February 20th at First Union Baptist Church, and that's 6144 Derwent Road, and that's from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The Midlothian 9th District Team Civic Meeting, chaired by Ms. Alma Moore, will be held on Tuesday, February 11th, 2014 at 6 p.m. sharp, Southside Plaza Social Service Building. In light of African American History Month, I just would like to offer a quote from Malcolm X in a speech given in 1965. I don't think anyone can deny the fact that it is impossible to understand the present or prepare for the future unless we have some knowledge of the past. I am now paraphrasing when I say to know something about our past is to know something about ourselves, and to know about ourselves builds our identity. As always, I'm concerned about the 9th District. Please continue to contact me with ideas, thoughts, and concerns. Michelle.mosby@richmondgov.com and 804-646-2779. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mosby. Mr. Agelasto.
Thank you, Council President. We're holding a 5th District meeting this Wednesday, February the 12th at 6:30 p.m. at the Bird Park Roundhouse. I encourage all residents of the 5th District to attend. We'll be discussing several various updates pertaining to Richmond Public Schools. We'll have Mamie Taylor, our school board representative, there. We'll also receive a presentation on a lease for Monroe Park that was introduced at City Council, and we'll have Alice Massey to help walk people through and understanding the impacts for Monroe Park. Also, we'll have a city stadium update, and for residents in the Carillon and Stadium and Carytown neighborhoods, you should be receiving flyers and information through your civic associations, and we will be hosting a couple of community forum meetings to discuss the 2 studies on City Stadium and to do a storefront for community design public engagement so that we can really develop a vision that represents what the surrounding community will support going forward in a future vision. Finally, during our district meeting, I would like to have an opportunity with 5th District residents to have a more complete conversation about Shaka Bottom revitalization plan. We won't have any major presentations. It'll simply be a conversation, but it will be the last part of the agenda. So we're going to walk through some other issues that are occurring right now in the city as well. Finally, we will, for Swansboro residents, if you did not attend the Hull Street Midlothian Civic Association last Monday night, I encourage you to reach out to your neighbors. We had a presentation by Rebuilding Together, and they are looking at doing a project area in our community down near McRand Street, Peyton, from Roanoke over to probably East 33rd, East 34th Street. And we are trying to determine who might be eligible. And there's a letter that explains more about who Rebuilding Together is, what their mission is, and how to get engaged. And applications for the program will become available in late April or early May. So if you need more information, if you think you might be eligible and you live in the neighborhood between Hull Street and Midlothian Turnpike, down near 34th Street, 35th, 36th, 37th Roanoke, please contact Ida Jones, my liaison, at 804-646-5724, and we'll send you the information. Finally, there's also a meeting this week on impact. This is a very important opportunity where citizens can get engaged on more of the basic city operations and make sure that our communities have the attention of both code enforcement, Public Works doing regrading of alleys and sidewalk road paving, etc. So for the impact meeting on Thursday, February 13th at 6 p.m., that will also be at the Bird Park Roundhouse. And if that's something important, please reach out to the impact coordinators and make sure that your issues are getting addressed. As usual, you can contact me, parker.agelasto@richmondgov.com, or if you're on social media, you can get more instant updates through Facebook and Twitter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agelasto. Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Excuse me. Our next district meeting will be held on Wednesday, February the 26th at 6 p.m. at Pine Camp Recreation Center located at 4901 Old Brook Road. We will have a presentation from the police regarding safety tips, an update on programming for our neighbors at the Partnership for Families North Side. The Finance Department will be on hand to assist individuals who have questions about tax relief for the elderly and disabled, and we'll have a major presentation from the Department of Public Works on major projects within the district, including road maintenance and paving, alley maintenance, and sidewalk projects. Please plan to attend so that you can hear firsthand about these projects and ask any questions that you may have or bring up any concerns that you could have. The 3rd District has a email update that's sent out at least weekly from Lisa Towns. If you'd like to be added to this email list, please contact her at 646-6055 or email her at lisa.towns, Townes, at richmondgov.com. And please know that your email information will be kept confidential. This past month, we did have a meeting of the Education and Human Services Committee, and we also heard a report this evening from Dr. Donald Stern, the health director for the Metropolitan Richmond Health District, and he had indicated that since 2008, the teen pregnancy rate in the city has fallen by about 40%, and that the estimated savings from that were somewhere around the $4.2 million range. And we want to thank Dr. Stern and the Department of Health for their good work in this effort. We also are having our next committee meeting on February the 19th, which is a week from this Wednesday at 5 p.m. here at City Council. We'll have a report from the Department of Social Services to address the audit recommendations presented by Ms. Becky China, the interim director, although we had a new announcement on that today, and we will certainly, Mr. Hicks is welcome to present this as well, and we'll also have remarks to the committee by Mr. Dana Bedden, the new school board the new school superintendent, and the school board chair, Donald Coleman, and we welcome them to welcome the public to come and hear what the leadership of Richmond Public Schools is saying and voice your opinion on that matter. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hilbert. Ms. Trammell.
Mr. President, we had our public safety meeting last Thursday, and my vice chair and I we discussed changing our public safety meeting to the fourth Tuesday, because every year this time when we have our holidays, it interferes with the public safety meeting, and then it kind of like throws us back off, like in the middle of the month, at the end of the month, and then sometimes we can't get the academy because they're having events going on there. So Cynthia and I discussed it, and we thought it would be a great idea to have it the fourth Tuesday, along with my colleague Chris Hilbert, and he agreed to the fourth Tuesday, and we would be bringing the public safety meeting to City Hall. Is that right, Cynthia? That's correct. Because now we have parking where the citizens can park free and come here.
You're stealing all of my announcements, Ms. Trammell.
So anyway, that's the reason why we decided to change the public safety meeting. Also, we had Major Collier. He was at our public safety meeting, and we know that we've had some concerns, some restaurants and businesses downtown, and some of the customers have had some concerns about their safety and all. And Major Collier said that he was going to send the police officers to some of the businesses, talk to them, and one-on-one. And that night, as I left a public safety meeting, I went and visited a couple of the restaurants, and I did see the police officers in there talking to the business owners in reference to how they could work together and make them feel safe and their customers feel safe. And we also talked about cameras, talked about the log books that they put into businesses where the police officers come in there and they sign the books and they talk to the customers and they talk to the restaurant owners. So that's something positive. And I know earlier that a citizen from my district spoke about the crime, and it's not the way that it was back in the day. We've come a long ways. And working with the police, working with the community, and it doesn't matter, where you live or whatever, things can happen, but that's why we have formed a bond and a trust with our police officers who's out there willing to help us, even with our new captains. I mean, I have Captain Marty Harrison, and him and I at 2nd Precinct, we speak every single day. And he's on top of things, and he wants to know what we can do to work together. So I appreciate that. And also Captain Roger Russell at 1st, and then we have Emmett Williams at 3rd Precinct. And they're great captains, so we welcome them. Also, the committee, we spoke about some different things with animal control, and the acting field supervisor, Ricky Stewart, was there. And he said if anybody has any questions, you can call 646-5581. That's 646-5581, and he can explain about the different shifts that they're going to have. They're going to have an officer that comes in like from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and then and then on Friday and Saturday you will be able to get someone. Then another officer comes on like from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. So you're going to always have an animal control officer on duty. If it's an emergency, you must call 911, but if it's not, you can call 646-5100, and an animal control officer will come out to you. So this is something great. This is what we've been discussing for a long time. I know even back in '96 we were talking about we needed more animal control officers out on the street. We are not going to have another 8th District meeting until April the 19th. That's the third Thursday in April. So I know some people have been calling, but we need to take a break and give Mr. and Ms. Lee a break. So we will come back the third Thursday, which is April the 19th. This right here is your free smoke alarm. If you will call 646-1526, 646-1526, the firefighters will come to your home, they will come to your business, they will come to your church, and they will check this smoke alarm and make sure that it's working. And if it needs a battery, they will put the battery in it for you, or you can go to your nearest fire station and set up an appointment with the firefighters to come to your home. Police officers will not do this. Animal control won't do this. The firefighters will do this. And they won't leave these smoke alarms with you. They will not leave them. They will put them up for you. So please call 646-1526. As the President of the United States, Barack Obama, said, everybody should have a working free smoke alarm in your home because they save lives. So take advantage of it because it's the only thing free right now. And if you have any questions, you can call my home at 233-7382 or my personal cell, 240-5050. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Trammell. Dr. Newbill.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of brief announcements. The next 7th District Impact meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, February 26 at 6 p.m. at the Main Street Station located at 1500 East Main Street. This week, the Storefront for Community Design will celebrate its 3rd anniversary and invite the full citizenry to come out on Thursday, February 13th at 205 East Broad Street at 7 p.m. to celebrate again its 3rd anniversary and certainly its contributions to the city of Richmond in terms of good community design. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbill. Vice President Roberts.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Sure. Okay, I have a couple of meetings that I'd like to announce. One will be held Monday, February the 10th, which is today. Which is tomorrow. Let me get this right. On Thursday. Sorry, I'm reading my notes wrong. On Thursday, February the 13th, we will be having a meeting at Legends, the Manchester area Civic Association and Business Association will be having a meeting to discuss the recent study that was completed by the city in regards to transportation and parking specifically on Hall Street. In addition to that, we will also be providing an update and information on what's happening with the development plans for the Shockoe Bottom. We want to encourage all of the businesses in that area, as well as residents in that area, to attend the meeting to find out about the changes that is being proposed as a result of the study and parking on Hall Street, as well as the update on what's happening with the Shockoe Bottom development. On February the 15th this week, in Saturday, at the Bellmead Community Center, which is located at 1800 Lynnhaven Avenue, we will be having our 6th District meeting. New superintendent, Dr. Bedding, will be there, as well as the school board representatives from both the 6th and the 8th District will be part of the agenda. There will be a discussion in regards to the Richmond Kickers and the new soccer teams that they're bringing to that recreational center, as well as Park and Recs will be on hand to share about the different services that are being provided. We've also extended an invitation to Dr. Stern as of today to be there to talk about the proposed health services that will be offered out of the Bellmead Community Center. So that meeting is this Saturday, February the 15th, from 10 to 12 at Bellmead Community Center, 1800 Lynnhaven Avenue. And on February the 20th, we will also be meeting with the Bellmead Civic Association, again at the Bellmead Community Center. This meeting is their regular Civic Association meeting, but we will be on the agenda to make a full presentation about what's happening with the Chaco development to give the citizens of Southside an opportunity to get a full appreciation for what's involved in that, and for us to also get information back from them. Earlier today, we had a presentation to the council from Mary Brooks in regards to affordable housing and affordable housing trust fund in the city of Richmond. We promised the community back in the spring that we would come back to them with a full presentation on what the Affordable Housing Advisory Board is recommending to the council as well as to the mayor in regards to funding the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and what programs should be priority. That meeting will be held on February the 18th at the Richmond Time-Dispatch. That meeting will start at 6 o'clock, and everyone is invited. We want the community to weigh in on the recommendations that will be forwarded to the mayor and to City Council on February the 24th in our informal meeting. We also would, as we've learned earlier today, Amanda Shelton has joined the staff for the 6th District. We look forward to continue to work closely with the residents there. Her number is 646-7964. She is also expanding our email address database, and we would appreciate it if folk would give her a call to be added to that list, or to send her an email at amanda.shelton@richmondgov.com. And we appreciate that, and we look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Robertson. Did anybody forget anything they needed to add? Mr. Hilbert.
Dear, thank you so much here. When you're in a haste makes waste here, I wanted to comment that this last week I was fortunate enough to be able to be invited to the Virginia Museum, where there was a reception for the president of Virginia Union University, Dr. Claude Perkins, and the celebration of his 5th anniversary at Virginia Union. And the reports were quite glowing, but just to highlight them, the student population has increased every year that Dr. Perkins has been at Virginia Union. There's the first building going up in decades, the dormitory, as well as a learning center there, a combination building, and that growth is spreading out with private development along Brook Road for student housing directed towards Virginia Union. So I did want to say a public thank you to Dr. Perkins for his leadership and the impact that Virginia Union makes in North Richmond as well as our entire city, and thank him for his service. And we look forward to him sticking around and continuing to increase enrollment at Virginia Union. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hilbert. Okay. On February 17th, I'll be attending the Sherwood Park Quarterly Neighborhood Association meeting at 7 p.m. On the 18th, Historic Jackson Ward's monthly meeting begins at 6 p.m. at Club 533. As Mr. Beliles pointed out, the 1st and 2nd District will be co-hosting a discussion on the stadium and economic development plan presented by the administration. We will have the added benefit of, I believe, being one of only 2 or 3 that have the new ordinance or the new resolution that will be introduced in just a minute to discuss, which gives a more updated version of the plan in it. So please plan to attend that at Albert Hill Middle School on the 3400 block of Patterson Avenue at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, February 19th. And, of course, on February 23rd, I'll be attending the Monument Avenue Preservation Society annual Neighborhood Association meeting at 6. So if you live in the 2nd District, there's a really good chance you're going to see my face in your neighborhood in the coming week. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. Madam Clerk, would you please read in the new papers?
Yes. Mr. President, the introduction papers for this evening are as follows. Ordinance number 2014-18, and that's to authorize the CAO to execute an agreement between the city and Loomis Networks to install telecommunication equipment within the city's public right-of-way. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee, February 18th at 3 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. Ordinance number 2014-19 to declare that a public necessity exists and to authorize the CAO to acquire 1301 North 38th Street and to authorize the conveyance to Danielle Clayman for the purpose of eliminating blight and making the property available for redevelopment. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee, February 28th at 3 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. Ordinance number 2014-20 to declare that a public necessity exists and to authorize the CAO to acquire 1419 Drury Street and to authorize the conveyance to Ronice Walker for the purpose of eliminating blight and making the property available for redevelopment. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee, February 18th at 3 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. Ordinance number 2014-21 to declare that a public necessity exists and to authorize the CAO to acquire 205 East 30th Street and to authorize the conveyance to Ronice Walker for the purpose of eliminating blight and making the property available for redevelopment. The Land Use, Housing, and Transportation Standing Committee, February 18th at 3 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. Ordinance number 2014-22. And that's to authorize the CAO to execute an agreement between the City and Atlantic 10 Conference for the purpose of hosting the Atlantic 10 Women's Basketball Championships. Education and Human Services Standing Committee, February 19th at 5 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. Resolution number 2014 R25 and to approve $1,500 from the Council District Fund for the 5th District to Storefront for Communication Design to conduct 4 community workshop sessions for neighborhoods surrounding City Stadium. Council public hearing date February 24th. Resolution number 2014 R26 to approve $1,765 from the Council District Fund for the printing and mailing of the 2nd District February 2014 District newsletters. Council public hearing date February 24th. Resolution number 2014 R27 to appoint William H. Lightly as a member of the Boards of Trustees of the Richmond Retirement System. Council public hearing date February 24th. Resolution number 2014 R28, and that's to appoint Matthew P. Nord III as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Richmond Retirement System. Council public hearing date February 24th. Resolution number 2014 R29, and that's to express the council's support for the further negotiations in connection with Revitalize RVA, a proposed economic revitalization and cultural heritage development project. Land Use and Housing Transportation Standing Committee, February 18th at 3 p.m. Finance and Economic Development Standing Committee, February 20th at 3 p.m. Council public hearing date, February 24th. And, Mr. President, that concludes the reading of this evening's intro papers.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to everyone for sticking with us tonight. 7:25. This meeting is adjourned. You want?
Yeah.
As the President of the Council said, 7:25. We got started at 6:05, so we're here for an hour and 20 minutes tonight. Called to order at 6:05, followed by appointments. Then the mayor was here, introducing a special guest. The special guest being our new governor, as the mayor said, our new resident, the Honorable Terry McAuliffe, who said he's going to be part of the city for the next 4 years. He's changed his registration for voting, etc. He's going to be a Richmond citizen for the next 4 years. So we welcome Governor McAuliffe to the city of Richmond. Followed by awards and presentations. The only presentation tonight was one naming this Richmond Black History Month. The agenda review and amendments. And the 3 papers that we were talking about, the Venture Richmond papers, at that point they decided they were going to be continued until our April 14th meeting. So it's been continued for 60 days. Got to so there was nothing left on the regular agenda. So citizen comment period came along, and that took about 20 minutes. Then we got to 2 expedited papers. One expresses council support and commitment for the city. This is concerning local matching funds up to $5 million for a possibility of $11 million coming from the state. And this would dedicate approximately contiguous real estate for a slavery and freedom heritage site. That was approved 9-0. The other expedited paper appointed Amanda D. Shelton, council liaison, to Vice President Robertson. That was also approved unanimously. Got to the consent agenda. That was approved unanimously in, about 12 minutes, followed by the approval of minutes, reports from council, introduction of papers, and we are adjourned until 2 weeks from tonight, which will be February 24th. So happy Valentine's Day. I hope the storm does not hit us this coming Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. For Gavel to Gavel, I'm Dick Harmon saying good night.